Hi everyone, it's Robin.
Kimi.
As promised, we've come together to discuss this very bizarre world we've been pulled into. Breathe it out. It's been quite the month. This month, we weren't expecting it, but we've crossed paths with some of the most popular people in the conservative Republican world, Donald Trump and Candace Owens, and other people in between. So we're going to talk a little bit about it. It's been a couple of weeks. It's just been kind of crazy since we've got back from all of our travels and work. But we promised we were going to do this video and answer some of the questions people have been asking us and explaining why we ended up in a room with Donald Trump a few weeks ago. So
I do feel the need to explain myself.
I know. All right, so it all started with this criminal justice forum that took place at Benedict College, and it was run by an organization, 2020 Criminal Justice Reform Organization. I don't know if I have the name correct, but it was 20 Black Republicans, 20 Black Democrats who started this organization, I think in 2015, and their focus has been criminal justice reform.
Yes. And
we thought it was interesting. It was taking place in South Carolina at an HBCU, historically black college and university, and we decided to go because it was saying that some of the presidential candidates were going to be there when we signed up, but it was just like a few of them. And then over, the course of
And interestingly enough, Kamala was the first one.
Yeah, Kamala Harris was one of the first people to RSVP, and Warren, and I think Pete. And then gradually, more candidates, start to RSVP, and it was about 12 Democratic candidates that were there by the time it was all said and done. So we decided to go because it applied to our work, because we do work with trauma-informed yoga education. This is a plug, but trauma-informed yoga education, restorative justice, community building, and
there were a lot of organizations like police officers.
Yeah, the African American Police Officer Association,
African American mayors,
African American, yep. And different members of the Congressional Black Caucus at the federal
FAM
and state level.
Against mandatory minimums.
All kind of
Yeah.
coalitions of people who they want to address criminal justice reform. So we were like, okay, let's consider going to this. And so in the invite, it said, we're inviting all the presidential candidates. So when I read it, of course I was interested in the Democrats who were going to be there because I'm a Democrat. As far as I know, I'm a Democrat. And, but when I read it, I was like, everyone who is a candidate, Trump is a candidate too, for all intents and purposes. But it didn't say anything about Trump. So I really didn't think anything of it. So we signed up to go, and maybe like 2 or 3 days before the actual summit was supposed to start, on Facebook, it was a picture of Donald Trump, and it was like, the president will be joining us on Friday. And I'm like, what? So I'm like, is this part of, so I'm looking like, is this part of my ticket, and everything? Because I wasn't going to pay extra to go see him. But if this was part of the ticket, in the past that I already paid for, I was kind of like, all right, I'm going to go see what's going on. Because I don't want to be thrown off in 2016, or thrown off like I was in 2016 about the results. I want to know what is going on out there, and the best way to do that is to get out there and see for yourself. Mm-hmm. So that's how we ended up at this forum. So leading up to the forum, I don't know where I should just hop into. She's a good storyteller as far as that. Oh, I know where. We were in the Uber. This is to me where it started.
The Uber on the way to see.
We were in the Uber on the way to see Trump. So Friday was Trump, Saturday was the Democratic presidential candidates, and then Sunday was the rest of them as well. So we get into the Uber. We'd never been to Columbia, South Carolina before, or really South Carolina. And we pull up, and the Uber driver, there were all these streets blocked off, so we're like, okay, Secret Service or just security or whatever. So the Uber driver could only go so far. So then we were looking for this, building on campus, and we didn't really like see hardly anybody out. So we see this African-American man, probably in his, 40s, 50s, well-dressed, he was walking along. And
I was like, he should know.
Yeah, we're like, oh, maybe he works here, one of the professors, So we put the window down, and we're like, oh, hey, excuse me, and he was just like ready to talk, and he's like, oh, yes, hello, yes, and everything. And we're like, oh, hi, we're, we're getting ready to go to this event, and do you know where the bookstore is so we can pick up our passes? And he's like, oh, no, I don't, I'm going to the event as well. No, I don't know. He's like, the president invited me personally to this event. And we're like, oh, okay, and he's like, yes, President Trump, he got me out of federal prison. And we were like, oh, and he's like, yeah, so, I'm here too, and I'm looking for, where to go and everything. So we're like, all right, he was very proud, as he should be, like he got out, so I'm not gonna hate on that,
He looked great.
He did. He looked great, and so he was well dressed, and he, went on his way and everything. So, we were like, all right. So we get out, and, the streets, everything was just cleared, it was just police officers. So, we go, we line up, and, it was this long line, all mostly black, people and everything. There were black Republicans from Texas, people who flew from all over the country to come and hear Trump speak. So, we're like, oh my goodness. So we get in there, and it was a very small theater. So we were really kind of shocked, that we were in these small quarters. And we sat down there, and we ended up meeting people. And these are not the people that the media is showing you.
Not at all.
These are not poor, downtrodden, racist white people, snaggly tooth, no college, that is this perception. I'm not saying that those people aren't Trump supporters too, but Democrats have supporters like that as well. And I'm not even trying to this is not my personal judgment. I'm talking about the narrative that the media is trying to put out there and what they show you, at these Trump rallies. Now, this was not a Trump rally. This was this summit.
There were a lot of men.
Yes. Let's talk about who was in the room.
Majority black men.
Majority black men in the room.
Well dressed. Majority professional.
Yes.
Either you were professional.
Yeah.
Or you had a below 12th grade education.
Yes. And this is not a diss.
This is a 8th grade, 9th grade.
This is a profile, okay?
8th grade, 9th grade.
There were black men that we met, 40s, 50s, 60s, judges, attorneys, doctors, councilmen, politicians, business owners, people who had, wives and children.
Oh, yeah.
Believed in God, very strong family, religious values.
And
polite, friendly, cultured. We had this whole conversation with this man talking about literature.
Totally. He's
operas.
reciting Robert Frost poems, and we're talking Porgy and Bess.
Yes, and operas and this and that. Then, on the other side, there were also
8th grade, 9th grade.
Young men who 8th grade, 9th grade education, came from rough, poor backgrounds.
System.
What? Yeah, in prison system, part of their life. Not married, maybe with children. What else?
Well,
I did family and God.
Theme, though. Yeah.
Still family and God.
Christian. That
Mm-hmm.
was a definite underlying.
Yes. Theme. So I'm just saying, just notice that. Then the music. So we're waiting, for Trump to come out, Macho Man. Yeah. Macho Man. That was, the guy that we were sitting next to, he's like sitting there, people were, it's a culture. It's culture. Culture is greater than policy when it comes to voting in this country. People are not splitting hairs on these policy things like Democrats tend to do. It's culture. Culture.
And Michael Jackson bad.
Michael Jackson Beat It. When Michael Jackson Beat It came on, this guy was like, ah, man, Trump's crazy. Trump's crazy. I mean,
playlist.
You know, look, do yours play? I mean, tickled, okay.
Oh, and I did it my way.
Oh yes, Frank Sinatra, right? Yeah, I did it my way. He did. You know what I mean? He did. What?
We did do some investigation. We asked and overheard some people talking about why they left the Democratic Party. Yeah. And a couple of interesting things that I noted were, one, they don't believe that all the Democratic nominees are really getting these grassroots donations. They feel like the DNC is kind of putting them up to show their diversity. This guy's like, yeah, you got a black woman, black man, a gay man, old white lady, old
Asian
white
man.
Yeah, just like, you know, Latino guy or whatever, like they're to show
an Indian woman or South Asian
diversity, this puppet diversity appeal. And the pandering they don't like, and this idea that the Democrats want you and need you to be a victim.
Yes. So back to that, like
that was the language.
Yeah, and that was because I was asking people. I was like, because they didn't really know if we were or were not Republican or were not Democrat. We weren't saying that we were, like, we weren't denying that we were Democrat.
We were just there.
You know. And some people were, like, some people were just there. You know, like this man next to me, he was just like, I'm not above, you know, seeing Trump speak in person. Right. You know, I was already going to be here. Kind of like I was like, I was already going to be here. I just want to see. I want to see what's going on. Who are these people and everything? So, and then they weren't really, if anything, if they did think we might be Democrats or something, but the fact that we were there, they were more willing to be open and talk to us.
Yeah. And
I'm talking I'm just going to be honest. Like Lil Pookie, who had maybe an 8th grade education, up there with this old white congressman, white hair, you know, and they were up there. Him and his wife. Oh, yeah, you know.
Pookie, are you enjoying the program?
And Pookie, you know, Pookie's giving his business card out, and they're talking about, hey, we're going to be passing this legislation on criminal justice reform. We want to hear your story. Why don't you come?
Well, his cousin.
Yeah.
His cousin was a cousin
of a senator.
A senator.
Yeah.
That Trump really praised on stage and said his name like 1,000 times. I don't know what to say.
Yeah, they'll have to do their research.
Yeah. But so anyway, they were really proud of that.
Yeah, so the point is they, you know, pulling people in, keeping people close, you know, is part of it, you know, and everything. So then, so we're sitting there, and again, culture, focus on culture here. Next thing you know, people just like start standing up, like it's all this like commotion, you know, going on. And of course, you know, when you feel that energy, you're looking like, what's happening? Who is that? You know, and everything.
It's kind of like you're at a party and either like if something dangerous is happening, like a fight or a gun, and you're like, what's going on? Or something like, oh, a celebrity's here. It's just that whole mass curiosity.
Right.
Starts to happen.
So next thing you know, like through the crowd, this man's coming through and people are like, stopping and taking a photo, and he's, you know, and I'm like, who is that? You know, of course, who is that? You know, looking. Dr. Ben Carson.
He was like,
ooh, you would have thought that was like
Jay-Z
or Drake or somebody up in, I mean, like he had the crowd on him, you know, came through, you know, just
patting his back, shaking his hand, and he's, you know, selfie.
So my point is, like, a lot of people, like, we might think we know he's a very smart man. We know that. But obviously his association with Trump, a lot of people take him as a joke. They don't take him seriously. They've lost respect. Well, guess what? For every person who doesn't, there's somebody who does, you know? So he was there. Yeah. Next thing you know, Lindsey Graham comes walking out. Another celebrity. Then this little entourage, you know, from the the side of the, you know, the stage or whatever, this door opens. And then this like
and
tall
Washington came in.
I think it's Mulvaney or whoever the White House correspondent guy. So he's comes in rushing around, and I mean the crowd, everybody, it's just going crazy. Like the guy next to us is like, "Oh man, I should go get my, take a photo with Lindsay, and I'm gonna go shake his hand." And we're just like, "What is going on?" Like it's insane.
Yeah.
So then, like I said, this man comes walking out. The way he was holding himself, very powerful. Do I dare say elegant? Graceful, coming into the room.
Poised.
Jared Kushner. I couldn't even believe it myself. I could not even believe it myself. The way he looks on TV is different. It translates different in person, okay? No one is over here swooning over Jared Kushner. But what I'm talking about is like...
Some people...
Power.
Photograph badly.
Yeah.
But they look way better in person.
Yeah.
Or you can like feel their energy.
Yeah, their essence and energy.
It's just different sometimes.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, he came through.
He looks like a plastic doll.
Yeah.
On TV, like a little Ken doll.
Yeah.
But then in the room, it's different. Like he's tall and he has a command.
Yeah, definitely a command. And you can tell that they, because Trump is about performance. He's about performance. He's about the media. He knows how to play the media. He knows how to play a crowd.
Yeah.
And, this is not something that should be ignored or, taken lightly. And you could tell that, that they've obviously done this. And so since Jared, I feel like, is so tall and has this commanding presence, they keep him just like off to the side. And he just stands up there the whole time.
He's standing.
So everyone is kind of mostly sitting.
Where everyone can, get your...
Yeah, and he's just standing there on full display. And it's just like, because it's all about power. Yeah. So it's like exuding this power, and it's intoxicating.
And
what I mean?
And they banter.
Yes.
They banter. It's like a performance,
Yes. Honestly. And see, what a lot of people do or don't know is that Jared Kushner, I believe his father and his uncle, they went to prison, for embezzling or fraud or something. Yeah. But my point is that he has had, whether or not he's wealthy or privileged or whatever you want to say about him, white man, whatever, he has had an experience with the criminal justice system in incarceration. Yeah. I mean, we're not going to say it's the same as black person or this and that or someone poor or Latino, whatever, or an immigrant or whatever, people who are really, hit hard in women. But the point is, he has had an experience with the criminal justice system. So by him being connected, or by him connecting himself with the First Step Act, which was a bipartisan bill that started during the Obama administration and spilled over, or at least efforts, it spilled over into the Trump administration. And then Trump did end up signing this bill into law. Mm-hmm. Excuse me. And it did help thousands of families or thousands of people in the federal, criminal justice system. It helped their families. This is what Kim Kardashian and Van Jones, were associated with, and getting Alice Johnson out of prison and others. So the fact that Jared can put this face of the Trump administration and be this, powerful white man who can say to a black person who has been through the criminal justice system.
My father
was
also in prison.
Yeah. I mean, that's powerful. And I mean, I was talking to, or just, through Facebook, a friend of mine, somebody from law school that I went to law school with. And when I told her the story about the man for the Uber, she was just like, just because Trump let him out of prison, now he's for Trump. I'm like, yeah girl, like, you're in prison, you're not going to care. Yeah. If it's a Democrat or Republican or an independent or whatever,
like,
Green Party.
She's never been to a prison.
I know. I mean, and we're not saying this lightly, because we both have had family members impacted by the criminal justice system and been incarcerated.
We've both seen the inside.
Yes.
Of a prison.
I've been in prisons, twice,
If I was in there,
yes.
I'd vote for whoever got me out too.
Heck yeah. Are you kidding me? So by that time, ladies and gentlemen, President of the United States, Donald J. Trump. And then here comes Donald. Boy, people jumped up, straight back, cheering for Trump.
Straight back.
Woo! And he came through, and we were just, it was so
insane. Leaning on the podium
Yeah. Just sitting up there lying. You know how Trump, he's like, oh, this is a gorgeous campus. One of the most beautiful places I've ever seen in my life.
Nice.
And it just was not. No offense, Benedict, but they come on. He's like, this is one of the most beautiful campuses ever. Right, Jared? And Jared's all right. It's a show.
It's a show.
It's a show. And then he does this thing too where he'll have the teleprompters, and he'll just be talking. He'll say he said this. He was like, when Jared came to me, he was like, please, we have to do something about criminal justice reform. And I'm like, God, Jared, you sound like a liberal. And everything. And then he'll look at the teleprompter and he'll be like, we are here because, and then he'll just go into, sorry, I don't know if you're seeing this, but it's like, he'll do the stand up, be like, yeah, you sound like a liberal. And then he'll go back to his screen and he's like, on this fine day, Dr. King did, and it's so patronizing. He's reading this speech, and then it's so patronizing where he can just maybe sound kind of, presidential. And then when he finishes, he's like, all right, everybody. And he'll just go back. And the crowd is loving it. The crowd is loving it.
They're on a witch hunt.
Oh, yeah.
Looking for crimes.
Yeah, right. And everyone's like, oh, and everything. And then he'll look at the cameras and he's like, they worry about if I'm going to leave office. I might stay here another 4 years, 8 years, maybe 16 years. I'll look at him. And it's so, it's so true, because, anyway, I'll get to that in a second about the media. But, he knows how to play the media and knows how to get us Democrats or liberals all crazy. Oh, my God, Trump said he's not going to leave office and, and everything. And it's true. We take the bit, and he knows how to give it out and
make good TV.
Mm-hmm. So then he started bringing up all these people that he's gotten out of prison, and then when they get up there, they will thank God and talk about their families and this man said he gave his life to Jesus, and everybody jumped up.
That is definitely part of the recipe.
Yes. And the point is, no matter how you feel about Jesus or God or don't feel or what you think about religion or anything else, these are still voters, and these are people that he is making a connection with. And those family values are it's still out there. I think a lot of us think oh, that's more like George Bush and, the 2004. No. That is still very much a strong thing with a lot of these supporters. And I know what you're thinking, well, Trump's, what are his values and, this and that. But it's about culture. He is maintaining the culture of, some of these values of these Republicans.
Definitely the family. What did he say? He's like, my daughter says, Dad, I want to create jobs.
Yeah, she just came into my office. I want to create jobs, Dad. Now, they don't talk to each other like that.
Yeah, I don't think that went like
that. I doubt, yeah. Anyway.
He calls you Donald. No, I'm kidding.
I know. No, but seriously, probably. But anyway, he's like, and she came to my office and said she wanted to create jobs. And then he gives off some crazy figure. And she created 180 million jobs. And everyone's like, oh, yeah, just,
Making America great.
Yeah, that was so surreal. When that started... And again, these are all, black people. And
that was kicked off by a black woman.
Yeah, she was like, make America great again. And then he's like, Obama didn't do anything for you all. And they're like, no.
Hell no.
No. I was like, oh my God. Okay, keep it together. And then the 4 more years chant started. Mm-hmm. And people were 4 more years and jumping up. And my point is, they're united.
Well, I just really had never seen that. And I wanted to go to, number one, it was part of the All Access Pass that we paid for. Yeah. Why not? I'm entitled to this event. And I want to see what this guy's talking about full on. It It was no skin off my back to go, there was no extra step. I was going to the event anyway, you know, so I wanted to see what was going on, and I wanted to see who these people were. And when I saw all those black people, I mean, it was startling. It was, me and Robin talk about this. I always say I refuse to be as ignorant as I was in 2016 because I was completely blindsided.
Yeah.
Completely blindsided, and it did not feel good. Like, I don't know what's going on. What country am I in? So I need to see what's really going on so I'm not so blindsided next time. Yeah. And I still was shocked.
Yeah. And so after that, it ended and everything. And, we were just, it was just really interesting because
Even the black couple that was there with us were mad at us then.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, you're sitting here too.
Yeah. Because, my whole thing is, like, I'm all into, FBI, CIA shows. So
Me too.
I'm like, we're in here.
We're like Carrie Matheson, low-key. If you know what that means, then.
You got to commit. You can't be sitting up there looking crazy or, pissed. I mean, you could do whatever you want, but my whole thing was I wanted to document this and to just fit in and see what was happening. So if people stood up, I stood up. And
then people will talk to you. You notice no one talked to that couple.
Oh, I know. Yeah. It's so true.
People will talk to you and you'll find things out.
And I asked this guy, I was like, which Democrat do you think, would have like the best shot at beating Trump? He's like, Biden. He's like, Biden or whatever. He's like, Bernie, socialism. He's like, we ain't a socialist country. And he's like, and Warren, he's like, Trump already got it with that Pocahontas. Like, she ain't gonna be able to win. I mean, and that's when he was saying, he's like, I don't know why the DNC has all these people running, and trying to put them up on the debate stage. And he's like, and he knows, he's like, all of them can't win. They're not even, they don't have a shot, but they're just collecting this money. And that's when he was just like, I don't think all these, Democrats are giving these people money.
Yeah.
And I don't either. Just saying. Citizens United. It works both ways. And I think that's the point I want to make too, is that everything cuts both ways.
It sure does.
As much as you looked up to Obama, somebody looks up to Trump like that. Just as much as you felt like you were part of this hope and change movement in 2008 for Obama, somebody feels like that with MAGA.
MAGA, yeah.
Just as much as you can't understand why people are into Trump, somebody thought that about you with Obama.
Yeah, they still do.
Just like come on now, let's get real. Let's look in the mirror. Just like when somebody would try to attack Obama, or if Obama told us something, we were going to be like, I believe it. I ride with Obama. You're not going to say anything about him. Somebody feels like that about Trump.
Yeah. Lies.
I mean, it's true. Just like, the media loved Obama. I mean, when he was running at different points and everything, they were smitten with Obama. And I'm glad, that helped with us, like with our cause.
Cool black guy.
Cool black guy. Americans love a cool black guy. So just
where's the lie?
Being aware that you need to get out your bubble. Turn off MSNBC and get out in the streets.
And you know what else they love? Like a CO.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get to that.
Oh,
we're gonna do a whole other.
Oh my god!
Let me wrap this up so we can have the real conversation, which is about Candace Owens.
If they love a cool black guy, what is she?
She. I don't even know. I'm trying to figure it out. But she onto something. I know that much.
Yeah.
But let me tell you, Donald Trump was one piece of the puzzle. And then little did we know, we're going to get this. Yesterday, we got this opportunity, or 2 days ago, to see Candace Owens.
And the
Blaxit movement.
Black people exiting the Democratic Party. Here in Atlanta.
Yeah. So again, don't shoot the messenger.
I've been disabused.
But Donald Trump's black base of voters are increasing. And the last numbers I heard from Steve Kornacki, and I'm not saying all of MSNBC is bad, but I'm just saying you can't just be in one, you can't be in a bubble in an echo chamber of your beliefs.
I mean, you do have to realize, like, the news has its own agenda, and, like, it's television. Television wants viewers. What gets viewers? Drama, competition. You know,
sensationalism.
You need that.
Shock.
If it's all just straightforward, that's not very entertaining.
No.
And nobody's going to tune in.
It's so true. So that's our story. We're gonna do this Candace Owens video because that's even more interesting to me.
I know.
And if you don't know who Candace Owens is, Google Candace Owens or Google Blacksit.
Yeah.
And it's still not going to really represent what it is.
At least you'll have an idea.
But you'll have an idea. Yeah.
Oh, please. I'm like, just don't play yourself.
Don't lie to yourself.
Don't
put your head in the sand and keep it there. Please don't lie to yourselves and think that all these black people are for the Democrats and not for Trump. Oh, please don't. Please don't. I mean, that's like my... And again, I'm just saying,
I just know how bad that hurt me to play myself in 2016.
And I just want to say...
Please don't play yourselves.
There is a theme, I feel like, with this white man and this black woman.
Yeah.
Energy.
Yeah.
With conservatives.
Oh, man, we have so many theories on this.
And a possible potential of what can take that on with the Democrats. And it's probably not what you're thinking. So I'm going to go ahead and make this video right quick so we can cut it off. And don't shoot the messenger.
Just
don't play yourself.
Close your eyes. Be aware.
Any black person that you are assuming is a Democrat and voting, please talk to them and make sure and ask and talk to them. And don't call them names if they happen to not be for Trump or if they be for Trump. If they are for Trump or they're thinking about it or they take a few seconds to answer, like just try to be chill, be cool.
And ask them why and
talk to them because people are open. People are more open than you think. Yeah. All right. Namaste.
And demand more from your parties, too.
Yes. And get to work.
And get to work.
If y'all want this man reelected,
get to work.
That's going to be a whole other... I have a bunch of videos I need to do. But I'm going to do them because I want him to be a one-term president. And it starts now. Yeah. All right. How do you turn this thing off? Okay.